It's a beautiful summer day, and I just got done reading Goosebumps, Why I'm Afraid of Bees. And I was really conflicted on what kind of rating to give this book because I kind of went back and forth while I was reading it. I'll go ahead and read the back of it for you. It says, Gary Lutz needs a vacation from himself. Bullies are constantly beating him up. His only friend is a computer. Even his little sister doesn't like him, but now Gary's dream is about to come true. He's going to get to exchange bodies with another kid for a whole week. Gary can't wait to get in the new body until something horrible happens. And Gary finds out his new body isn't exactly human. And I bet you can fill in the pieces of that one. So, spoiler alert, he gets an ad where you can like switch bodies for a week, and he goes to this place and he switches body. He goes in there and he's like learning about the process of it and gets scared and was gonna like walk out. And the lady's like, hey, while you're here, let's just take a picture of you and we'll just put you in the file and see if anybody wants to switch with you. And he's kind of like, oh, no one's gonna want to switch with me. He's like, I'm, skinny and scrawny and a nerd and no one likes me. But he goes ahead and she talks him into it. He gets a call, or she shows up at his house, something like that, and says that there's some kid that needs help with a math test and wants to switch bodies with him for a week. And they do, but Gary's neighbor is a beekeeper, and Gary is terrified of bees, like just terrified of them. And so while they're doing the switch, a bee had gotten inside his kitchen. They're doing it like at the kitchen table. She's got like all these machines set up, and he basically switched lives with a bee. And then the bee went into the other kid's body, and that kid did switch with Gary. So it's kind of like a triangle, but it's really interesting perspective because he gives perspectives of a bee and the struggles that bees go through. So it was very well thought out for sure, and I really enjoyed that part of it. It's kind of ironic because this bee trap over here just caught a bee, but it's a yellow jacket. And these are honey bees in here, so that's different. These are good bees, and that bee trap is a bad bees. It's just for like yellow jackets and wasp and stuff. But yeah, he flew in like as I'm sitting out here, and I was like, bro, that's creepy, because I was reading about it. But I'm gonna say about like a 3 out of 5. I'm gonna give it a little bit lower of a rating. It was a good read and I would recommend it, but what hung me up was the drawn out and the turmoil of just him constantly, like, just all of his struggles. It was just like a little bit too much. Like, it's like, we get it, bees get swatted at. And it just seemed like he encountered that constantly, and I get that, but as a reader it was repetitive, seeing him go through the same struggles over and over and over. So one of the things, the ending, because he's tries to like type up a message to the kid that switched bodies with him, and he's able to like type on the computer, and his kid finds out or whatever, right? And he wants to switch back, and the kid refuses. He like refuses to give his body back. So he's contemplating stinging him, but he knows if he stings him, he's gonna die. So that's the whole turmoil, pretty much half the book. And at the end, he gets to this point where he's like so miserable. Like, he even like explains it as he's living in a nightmare, that he just decides he doesn't care anymore. He's gonna sting him. He doesn't care if he dies. So he does. He stings him, and then he dies. The bee body dies. He wakes up in his body, and it isn't really explained, so I'm just assuming that because the bee body died, the bee died as well. And so he went back to his body, the other kid went back to his body. I'm assuming that's how that worked. They didn't really touch on it. And then the end, basically all of his problems are fixed. He's not scared of his bullies anymore. Him and his sister get along, him and his parents get along. And it was just a little too predictable, too seamless, and too repetitive. So that's why I think I would give it a 3 out of 5. But it's still a good read. I would still recommend it. So I am curious. Let me know down in the comments below, what rating would you give this book? And if you could change something about this book to make it better, what would you change? And like always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.